can you mute your mic? Welcome, everyone, to our panel, Living Your Best Life Today. My name is Bethany Malash. I am a member of the CMTA's advisory board, author of the book, How Should a Body Be? And I will be moderating our panel today. I am joined by three very special people. John Nixon is a retail branch manager in the UK, a father and a fitness coach. Diagnosed with CMT 30 years ago at the age of 12, he is a bodybuilder and recently won in his division at the PCA bodybuilding competition. Yeshua Holiday is a self-described special bird who has not one but two types of CMT. He also has another neuromuscular disease called myasthenia gravis. He is a disability activist, an LGBTQ activist, an ordained elder, and a former member of the U.S. Army. Hannah Spencer may be the youngest member on our panel at the age of 14, but she is not lacking on wisdom. Hannah is a pillar in her community despite all she's had to contend with due to CMT, including 2 hip surgeries. Diagnosed with CMT in just January of this year, she wasted no time getting involved with the CMTA community and attending Camp Footprint. I have a deck of pre-selected questions for our panelists, but while you listen, I invite you to write any questions for our panelists in the chat, and we will answer them if we have time at the end of the session. To start, I have a question for all 3 of you, and I will call you out to answer one at a time. Today's topic is living your best life today. John, what's one thing you do to make your daily life with CMT better?
Well, for me, I don't let anything stop me. You know, I just believe that whatever you want to do in life, you can go and do. You just make the adjustments. Yeah, you look at it positively, put a smile on your face, and you can do it. You can.
And you're a lived example of that.
Absolutely.
Yeshua, what's the one thing you do to make your daily life with CMT better?
Well, the first thing I do is get out of my bed in the morning. I think that's a very important part of getting yourself up and getting yourself prepared to do things. The longer you lay in the bed in pain or telling yourself you can't do something, the less likely you are to get up. So the very first thing you got to do is get up in the morning and just get moving. Whatever idea. Sometimes I have to prepare myself for something the day before, but I get up and I get out and I walk or I go to the gym like John. Not as muscular as John, but but get up and get moving. Get up, stay moving. That's very important.
Thank you. And Hannah, what's one thing you do to make your life with CMT better?
I try to wake up with a positive spirit in mind so I don't go on with the day feeling bad about myself. And I try to exercise at least once a week, like John and Yeshua. And I just try to feel good about myself, even though I have a disability in life.
Beautiful. Thank you. So, John, you are a bodybuilder. Can we maybe get like a bicep from you?
I try.
Oh, yeah. And it might be easy for someone to assume that your CMT doesn't affect you very much. Can you maybe tell us one of the barriers that you've had to overcome?
Oh, my word, it does. You know, my feet are very disfigured. So I really struggle to walk. The balance is not good at all. I walk like a cowboy would, bow-legged. And it does cause me a lot of problems. You know, I can only walk on flat surfaces. So even just walking into a gym for the first time is really difficult. Always feeling embarrassed that people are watching you. You know, a lot of that's surpassed now because obviously I've done it. But that's the kind of barrier that I've had to come across. I get up every morning with pains. I've recently had something called plantar fasciitis, I think it's called. So it's given me more pain in my right foot. So while a lot of people are out there and they've not got issues, you know, myself and a lot of us were still in pain, and we're battling through it. everyday life, just being walking around your house is painful, let alone going into the gym. But people see me, they see that I've been on stage and I've got muscles, but it's not as easy as that. And I use orthotics. I use an orthotic boot to help me get around, maintain balance, and make my life more comfortable. I've only been wearing the orthotic boot for 12 months. I wish it was something I did when I was Hannah's age, to be honest. But I probably wouldn't have done it for fear of what people would have thought. And I'm not bothered. I'm 42 years old now. If I could turn back time, that is exactly what I would do.
How has your fitness regime helped you manage CMT? I mean, you've obviously pushed through a lot. Has it been worth it?
Tenfold. So I started training 15 years ago. I was 28 years old, and I kept tripping up and falling over. And it was embarrassing. Obviously, I was regressing, shouldn't have been. I wasn't physically fit. I was when I was a teenager. I used to be very active as a teenager, but I sort of lost that in my 20s. You have children, you go and do whatever. I drank quite a lot of alcohol at the time. I turned to fitness and I started resistance training. I knew absolutely nothing. So my journey started 15 years ago when I started studying it, working with other people, networking, experiencing it myself, and learning the nutrition side of it as well. So the training really helps in strength. It stopped me falling over as much. When I do fall, I make a meal out of it, but I don't fall as much. But the nutrition it's insane, because eating healthy and maintaining the right macros in your food, I believe, really helps manage the condition. And that's what it's about. Whenever, there's no cure for CMT at the minute. And, I hope and pray that one day there will be. But if we can manage it and improve it by even 10%, then we've won. That is a little win. I absolutely believe that you can't do something that's huge, but you can do things on a daily basis that are really small, that add up and help you improve it. And if it's 5 or 10% improvement, then that is something that's worked.
Yeah, absolutely. 10% of increased function is huge, right? And people with CMT appreciate every little bit of function we can get back. So Thank you. Yeshua, I was struck by a simple line on your Facebook bio. It read, "disabled and worthy." Can you expand upon what that means?
I have watched. I was actually talking to a friend yesterday about the things that we don't pay attention to, as far as accessibility and stuff, when it's not affecting us or someone we know, directly. The whole worthy part came for me when I realized that as I was getting sicker, people were treating me differently. They would start asking if there were certain things I could do or couldn't do, where they didn't care, where it didn't bother them before. They didn't ask before. Relationships, not as easy to get into, and you start feeling kind of down. You get depressed. You get start feeling really bad about yourself. Because of how you see people changing and how they treat you. They don't ask you to go out as often. They automatically assume you can't do certain things. And I had to start believing in myself that I was worthy of good friends. I was worthy of good relationships. I was worthy of getting up in the morning and knowing and believing that I could do things, whatever I set my mind to do, and even if I had to do it differently from everybody else. And it is about self-confidence. It's about knowing that even if your hands don't work right or your feet don't work right or whatever doesn't work right, that you can still, there's ways to get around, stuff. We were talking earlier about me being in the military, and as a kid, because I didn't know I had CMT, I played basketball, I ran track, and it's not until I got older that I started feeling less than, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I had to teach myself that I'm worthy of everything else that everybody else is worthy of, you know. And so that's, and I want people to know that I know that I'm worthy, despite my disabilities.
Yeah, I think that's a journey that we all have to come to, figuring out for ourselves. And I'm curious, once you found that self-worth and that confidence, did it change how other people were interacting with you and treating you?
It changed it changed me.
Mm-hmm.
It changed how I reacted to how they treat me. Whereas though before it bothered me, it made me upset, it concerned me, you know, it now it doesn't. I'm learning to be indifferent to how people, you know, I appreciate those who take the time to ask me about what's going on with me, versus those who just assume,
Yeah.
so it changed how I reacted to everything.
And I'm guessing you'll now attract that type of person as well, which is great. Thank you for sharing that. Hannah, so this summer you attended the CMTA summer camp for
Yes.
youth with ages 10 to 18. And I'm curious, what did you enjoy most about Camp Footprint, and how has your experience there helped you throughout the rest of the year?
Um, what I most enjoyed at CMT camp was that there were other people like me and that I wasn't the only person who had a disability there. And it just felt like when you got there, like they didn't treat you differently or anything like that. It felt like you were just a part of a family and they all accepted you for who you are no matter what. And this camp, like Laurel said, it's like it fills up your energy battery for the whole year when people bring you down and do stuff that's mean to you. And I just feel like this camp is great for people who are just getting diagnosed with CMT and feel like they're alone in this world. And I just feel like after I went to the CMT camp over the summer, I just had a great time and I want to go back next year. And I'm counting down the days until summer, even though school just started. But I just love the camp and it was a really great experience for me and my sister.
That's so great. And your sister is CMT too. How old is she?
She's 12.
Wow, how special that you could both go to camp at the same time. That's
Yes.
really cool. In your bio, you wrote, Camp Footprint has made me feel like I am not different, that it's okay to walk with a limp.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I wish I could have figured that out at 14. Like, how much easier would the next decade have been? So I am so glad that you have figured out all of this wisdom at 14 and had such a great time at camp. And hopefully other kids or parents are on this call and are going to send them to camp as well.
I definitely would recommend it. It's fun.
Great, thank you. And you also do some really cool volunteer work in your community. Who are the patients that you work with?
So I work with dementia patients at a nursing home, and I basically like paint with them and do exercises with them to keep their minds sharp. And I just feel like it's a great opportunity to help out the community and just to see how other people live in the world and not just stay in an enclosed bubble with my friends.
Yeah, it's so easy for all of us to be in our own little worlds, right? Just our little phones and whatever, minute worries we have about the day. What kind of insights have you gotten from working with the dementia patients at this retirement home?
They're still people and they still like need love. And a lot of them, their family don't come and see them anymore, and it just feels like they're by themselves. And it's just sad to see that like nobody comes and visit them. And it's nice to see when you paint with them and you talk to them how you see their face liven up, and it feels like it's just a great experience for me because it reminds me to call my grandma and my grandparents at least like once a week because I do forget sometimes because I'll say I can do it another day. I have friends, I have places to go. And it's just a reminder to people just to tell your family that you love them and that you appreciate them for everything that you do.
Wonderful. Thank you. John, what is your top tip or one of your top tips for staying positive and motivated?
Well, you know, and it's probably the same for a lot of people, but when I was growing up, I felt very lonely and isolated. But what we've got today is we had a laugh about this earlier, but we've got the internet and we can share so many experiences with each other. And I think that is fundamentally key. I'm motivated by people that I reach out to on Instagram, on Facebook, obviously on the CMT Association. But watching other people's stories, and I've got another 2 people on today, for me is phenomenal. I go to bed every night grateful that I've had the opportunity to get up in the morning and do something that somebody else has not. So that's what motivates me. People that I'm surrounded by with CMT. And they don't even just go to the gym. They do so many different things. It could be horse riding, walking, running, surfing. I've seen somebody doing the boogie boarding on snow in Canada. I think it's amazing. You know, at one time I just wouldn't have thought it were possible.
So who's someone we should all follow on Instagram, John? Who give us your top follows?
Oh God, you put me on the spot now. I'll find them out and I'll post them.
All right. Well, I'll shout out your Instagram then, because you've got an Instagram called CMT Bodybuilding.
Yes.
So if everyone after the summit wants to see how shredded John is and get some inspo, you can go there. And John, I was looking at your Instagram and you had a quote, "You would not ask a goldfish to climb a tree."
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
So for me, I can't run. So there's no way I would go and run a marathon. I'd love to. If there's one thing I could do if I'd not got CMT, I'd run. And I'd never stop. I'd be on a beach. I'd be like Forrest Gump and I would never stop. Yeah, but I can't run. But what I can do is I can lift weights. And that's what I enjoy. So I keep fit by lifting weights or riding a bike. And, you know, and it's the same for anybody. If there's something you can't do, but you want to get that out there and do it, make an adjustment and you'll find that there is something out there for you to enjoy.
Oh, yeah, I think that's great advice. Yeshua, so you've got 2 types of CMT, which you believe came from both sides of your family. So tell me, what's the family dynamic like? Do they talk about it?
Oh, well, I didn't actually find out about it until having one-on-one conversations with Kenneth. And then looking at other people talk about their feet and stuff like that on the groups, because my dad's toes used to curl upward and he had extremely flat feet, and I didn't and so it wasn't until I started paying attention to other people talk about their feet and stuff that I realized that my dad probably had it too. Unfortunately, when my dad passed away when I was 16. So I lost contact with his family. But like I had mentioned before, none of my family was ever fully diagnosed with CMT. I'm actually the first person that was fully diagnosed with it. And it started out with me being diagnosed with hereditary neuropathy years ago, and the doctors just didn't say anything past that. They tested my mom, they tested my aunt, and they was like, "Oh, y'all have hereditary neuropathy," and that was it. It's like, there's nothing we can do for you, and so they just dropped it. Didn't explain what it was, none of that. And it wasn't until I got a very good doctor at Emory in Atlanta that I was fully diagnosed with CMT and explained what it was, and that's why I got on the groups and stuff and all of that and everything. But yeah. And I realized, thinking back on things as I was talking to people, is what helped me realize that both my illnesses come from both sides of my family. So I was like, well, I have a habit that when I do stuff, I do it to the utmost. So
we do. We appreciate that about you. And was your family receptive to this diagnosis, or do they still not want to talk about it?
I talk about it more to them than they do to me. And I try to keep them on track with things that when they see things going wrong with their body, that they might want to let their doctors know um, what the history of the family is. So that could be a cause, a reason as to why they're having certain issues. And some of my family listens, and some of them don't. So there's nothing I can do. I can just give out the message and be there for them as best I can. But I have fully accepted who I am and what I am and what I have, and I just function within it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you really pushed and spent a lot of years to get a proper diagnosis. Is there any advice you'd give to the audience if they're still struggling to get a genetic diagnosis?
It's really a day at a time. Don't get down. I see so many people on the CMT groups on Facebook complaining because it's taken them so many years, or the doctors are really not knowledgeable. And I understand that, because I just recently left Memphis, Tennessee, and I don't wish that city on anybody as far as healthcare is concerned. And it's hard. It's very hard. But when you know something is bothering you, and you know that you're not crazy because you're seeing all these people talk about it, just keep going. Keep finding doctors. Keep getting opinions until somebody listens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep. Don't give up. Don't give up, because your body and your health is important.
And you mentioned Kenneth. Is that Kenneth Raymond?
Yeah.
Great. And so he's one of the CMTA's genetic experts. How can people get in contact with Kenneth if they have questions?
Well, Kenneth is on just about every CMT group on Facebook.
Perfect. Okay. So maybe they can join the CMTA's Facebook group and ask for
It's not
Kenneth.
hard to reach out to him on the group and whatever. Yeah. He's on he's on just about every CMT group there is. So he gets around and he gives out very good advice, and I don't know where I'd be without him right now.
Fantastic.
I know he's done a lot.
He's changed a lot of lives, and so if anyone has these genetic questions, or just questions about how to just get through the CMT journey, join the Facebook groups, right? Follow us on Instagram.
Definitely.
And sign up for the CMTA's newsletters, because there's such a wealth of information and resources out there. Thank you. Hannah, so you've already been through a lot, because you mentioned that you went through 2 hip surgeries, and
Yes.
that had to have been pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was a hard time for me. When I first had my first one, I was only 10, and yeah, like I didn't know what was going on, because then nobody knew what it was. So it just felt like they were just giving me surgery on my hips, because like I thought I just broke it. Like I broke my hip. I didn't know what was going on, because I didn't know I had CMT yet. And like I was in, I think, like the 4th or 5th grade, and when I came back, I was in a wheelchair, and I lost like a lot of friends, because you don't want to be friends with a girl who's in a wheelchair. And then people would stare at me, and like the whole time I had my wheelchair, I didn't eat lunch in the lunchroom. I ate lunch in the library with the librarian, and she was so sweet, because I didn't want anyone to see me like that. And it was just a hard time for me, because like I lost my friends, and I didn't know what was going on.
What did you do to get through those hardest days?
Well, I had my family, and they were like a really big help. And then after like I got out of my wheelchair, because I was in it for like 6 months, um, it was my new friends came back, and it was better. And then I moved towns. I moved to a different town like 2 years later, when I was like 11, 12. And then I had my second surgery when I was like 12-ish, 13. And um that was during the pandemic, and I know this is a bad thing. I was happy that it was a pandemic, because nobody really knew. Nobody knew I had my second surgery. It everything was online, so it was great.
Well, and yeah, if you got to be stuck at home anyway, not the worst time to recover from surgery. So I get that. What would you say to someone who's maybe got a surgery coming up or is thinking about having surgery and really terrified about it?
So the surgery part, like being put under, is fine. It's like a great nap. The after part, I mean, it was hard for me to recover. Like, it was a hard time. Like, you have to do physical therapy and you have to try to work yourself to get better. And I just feel like if you push hard and you have a positive impact and positive mind during the whole thing, you will do great. I mean, you will always get through it because obviously I did, and I'm sure that you guys will get through it as well. I mean, the first time I was kind of a downer. I didn't want to like talk to anybody. I just wanted to be by myself. But my mom really helped me, and my parents really helped me get through it, and they helped me feel better about myself during that time. So just having a positive mind can really help you go through a long way, and just feeling the spirit to get up and exercise and doing all of that can really help your CMT become better.
Thank you. I feel like you're talking just to me. I need to record you and just play you every morning. All right. So I see we have a couple questions on the chat, which I'm going to start getting into. John, someone wants to know, what are the boots that you wear? Tell us about the boots.
Yeah, so over here in the UK, we've got our health system. And I see a lot of people on the CMT groups wearing the AFOS, is it called? You don't see so much of that over here in the UK. But I wear a boot, and this boot is molded to the sole of my foot. It's got a big wedge on it. I've got them on at minute, so I can't really show you one. But it's got a big wedge on the outer part of the foot that stops my ankle from rolling, because my ankles roll very easily. The back of the boot is reinforced also to stop that from happening as well. And I've got the hammer toe, so my toes curl up and they curl under and back and every which way but loose. So the front of the boot is also very deep to accommodate for my toes. So that's what I pretty much wear every day. I've got a pair of weight boots that are orthotics as well. I don't wear them anymore because they cause me more issues than what CMT does, unfortunately. Yeah. But the boots, what I will do, I will post a picture on at some point as well, because these have been a lifesaver.
That would be great. And do you who makes the boots?
So they're supplied through the National Health System in the UK. The company that make them, it's a local company. It's in Yorkshire in the UK. So it's probably something totally different to what you've seen over in the United States. I've posted pictures on Facebook before, and people have never seen them. So it is totally out there.
Yeah, I like them. They're like superhero boots.
Yeah. Somebody once said to me, "Can't they make them look prettier?"
Oh no, they're cool.
Yeshua,
question: what is the name of the CMT doctor at Emory?
Oh, Dr. Garcia Santapanez. I actually had spoken with her. I spoke to Laurel about her.
Okay.
And I believe she's one of the people that they're talking to about signing on as a Center of Excellence member. She's an awesome doctor. She's knowledgeable in both of my illnesses, which is fantastic. And she was just so much of a support system. I mean, I miss her so much. I think she spoiled me, actually. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a gift when you find a great neurologist or any physician.
It is, because it's hard.
It could take a while. Question. Let's see, John. How do you get yourself moving when it causes more pain? I hear it will get better, but I haven't been able to push myself physically and mentally.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, this. I promote people, and I know it's not easy for everybody, but I promote trying at least to get active because it will prevent future illnesses in future as well. A little bit at a time. I use baby steps as a key set of words. So I hurt my foot back at the beginning of August, and I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to put my foot down at all. In September, it started to heal. And what I decided to do every day was walk a little bit further. So the first day I set out walking, I'd do 5 minutes, and then I'd do 7 minutes and 9, and so on. I'm now up to doing 30 minutes in the morning before I have any food. So, the analogy is just do a little bit at a time. If you're in your living room and you want to get off your settee 10 times and treat it like a squat, it's a start. It's a start. Even just getting in your garden and doing a little bit of gardening is activity in itself. I think people think that you've got to go to a gym to be active, and you haven't. It's just doing something like that gets you out there and just gets your blood circulating, basically. Keeps your muscles. If you're not using them, you'll lose it, and I think that's key. Yeah, we're never going to improve it 100%, but if you don't use them, you will lose.
Yeah, I think that's right on, and I would say, don't overdo it, because I know I get like super enthusiastic and then I just ache after. But it also depends what's causing your pain. Before I had surgery, I had so much pain in my feet, and that was just because the bones were misaligned, and unfortunately, exercise wasn't going to fix that one. But that's a great question. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Hannah, my granddaughter will be 10 in December. Do you have any advice about informing her that she has CMT?
So the best advice I would give a parent about informing their child that they have CMT is just to have like a sit down conversation and not just go straight into it, but just provide them information that they're going to be okay and that it's not the end of the world and that they have a lot of people who have the same thing as them and that they're not alone and that just having CMT is not such a bad thing. It's a great thing because like we have all these people. We have John, we have Yeshua, we have Bethany, and we have Jonah and Laurel, and they're just really great people. And I would just tell the parent just to find people other like them, like joining the CMT Facebook group and showing their kid that it's gonna be okay and that they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, that's great advice, and get them to camp.
Yes.
Get that girl to camp.
Yes.
Yes, and
I want to go to camp.
I know. Tell me about it. It sucks getting older. Someone asked me what my tips are for living your best life. Gosh, believe that it's possible, right? Like, believe that you can still live a fantastic, fulfilling, beautiful life with CMT. Because I didn't believe that for a while, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you know what? I've got CMT. That's hard. That's challenging. I went out in a wheelchair today because I can't walk right now. But I live in London, a fantastic city. I travel the world. I have a wonderful husband. I have great friends and family. Life can still be so much more than CMT. So that's my best advice. And I would say follow all the tips from the beautiful people we've heard from today to think positively and take excellent care of your body because it deserves it. So I see we are about out of time. I would just love to thank all of our panelists today. You guys are the best. And I know everyone, and myself included, got a lot out of today's session. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thank you.